According to the DOB.
Okay,
All right, it's 2:00. Let's call the Plant and Equipment Committee meeting to order. Any public? I see someone's watching us.
probably Justin.
No public comment? No comment from the committee?
District
All right, let's move on to, as it's now known, the Northwest Transmission Pipeline Replacement.
That is the original name of the project, and we will continue with that. You have a memo there with your agenda. This is really loud, okay. So on Thursday, January 18th, we opened bids for this project. We had 2 bid schedules, and the contractors had a choice to bid on either one or both. And you can see that some did bid on both. We had 3 bids for bid schedule 1 and 4 bids for bid schedule 2. And the lowest bidder, bid schedule 1 was for the bell and spigot regular PVC pipe, and bid schedule 2 was for the fusible PVC pipe. So the low bidder, Nicholas Construction, for $5,698,350. Went through their bid packet, and they did have some minor correctable irregularities, so those have been taken care of. And the recommendation is to award to Nicholas Construction. You may or may not remember, they have done work for us before. After the earthquakes out on Javis in front of the Gateway Tank site, we did have a pipeline replacement up there. They did do that work, so we have no reason to believe that they're not capable of doing this work. So our recommendation and Krieger and Stewart's recommendation is to award the contract to Nicholas Construction.
What was the difference between Schedule 1 and 2 again?
Schedule 1 is regular PVC, Schedule 2 is fusible.
Okay. What's your preference? There it is, they're,
At this point, we need to go with the lowest bidder in order to.
I realize that. I'm just asking the question. Is,
The recommend, I would like the benefits of fusible, but not $2.5 million more.
Right.
yeah, I know.
It's not worth the difference in the cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So for the regular PVC, they're gonna be completely removing the old pipe.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's,
That's the really big difference, is that they're not
yeah.
lining the old pipe, they're
Right.
taking it out and replacing it.
Yeah.
That was,
They will be leaving in the HDPE pipe that we had put in a year ago.
Oh, the replacement section.
Yeah, that
or
was
something?
like, it was like 2,000 feet. Yeah, they are doing fusible PVC underneath where the new stoplight is at Jack's Ranch. So
Okay.
they don't have to tear through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
oh, go ahead and finish. No.
I'm done.
Okay, so I was just gonna say that, one of the things we're gonna be doing, I believe we're using this project, we're gonna, perhaps this could lead to a change in the way we are staffed, but we're gonna have Krieger and Stewart, train a, what are we gonna call that person, a quality assurance technician,
It's inspector.
an inspector.
Okay.
So, in the past, the district had, full-time inspectors, and, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a number of our current employees, and they will spend different, 3 weeks, a month, whatever it is, each doing inspection to sort of test run how that goes, so that we have sort of a qualified in-house, and then we might take an existing position, and instead of creating a new one, create a position for a full-time inspector working under the engineering section. And so our plan to get there is to use this project to help let people understand that's going to happen, which I think will be an improvement to our process.
Okay. And Nicholas Construction's been vetted, I guess, and they're good to go.
Yes, they have the experience and the correct license, and they have done work for us before.
Are you going to need the final approval from the board, obviously?
This is just a recommendation from the
Then
committee.
how long will, before they start?
Well, once the board
Approves, yeah.
approves them, then of course there's the process of going through the contract and
Right.
ordering and pre-construction meetings and all that stuff, so.
All right. Stan, anything?
I was just curious, is this price, 5.7 million, consistent with our being able to do that second pipeline job with the loan that we're envisioning?
Why'd you answer?
So between
the revenue bonds, which is about 7.5 million, and the 3 million coming from the state, we anticipate being able to do both projects, the Springer line and this one.
Okay, and at what point in time are we gonna go out for bids for the Springer?
We have plans, we need to go out and pothole for crossing utilities, and after that, we can discuss going out to bid for that job.
Yeah, and I would just make the following recommendation. There is some uncertainty with the state budget. It's not a high risk, but because of the giant shortfall in the state budget, there is a minor risk that we could end up with some of our promised money from the state either being reduced or cut. So I think we would be better off making sure that that money is firmly fixed. Is that a fair assessment? Is a really low risk, but there is some risk?
Yeah, it's a low risk. Currently, it's frozen until June, until the legislature
Yeah.
Okay.
does their thing with their.
That's not that long.
And at which point can
It's
you
not
apply for our 3 million?
Well, I'm hoping they're supposed to be DWR is supposed to be sending the agreement this week or next week to
Okay.
sign, but the funds will still be frozen.
Right, so once it's signed, we got to wait till the funds are released.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So it means the project could still be getting done, and it could be released. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be in preparation mode, but like, I think the question was when we were gonna release it for bid, and I think we really wanna make sure we have funds in hand.
Okay, all right.
So what did the interest end up being on that loan?
We're still not there. The good news is, well, we're not there because we haven't priced and sold them that yet. We're still in that process. The public,
I know
there's the other group that has to approve our revenue bonds as well, California Municipal
I
Public
think that's it, yeah.
Finance Authority.
Yeah,
Their meeting's supposed to be next week, and then we meet with Underwriter to go through pricing to see what the market will bear out. Right now, we're kind of in a good position with the Fed holding steady with their rate, which means there's more appetite to buy this because they know rates probably will be going down in the future and don't know when.
Yeah.
The other good news is George and myself did a presentation for Standards and Poor's to rate our bond, and they actually upgraded us from an A to an A+.
wow,
So that should equal out to some more interest cost savings.
good, that's good news, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always appreciated that about the district, that we get rated so well by Standard &
And
Poor's.
it was an interesting conversation. They really do their homework. There were a lot of questions about the pipeline, groundwater authority, concerns about how that could affect the district. So they had really done their homework and,
Who's that, from Standard & Poor's?
yeah, from
Really?
Standard & Poor's, like, yeah, they were really interested. And so Ty not only prepped me, but he did a really fantastic job of sort of talking through all the different contingencies. If this happened with the pipeline, we would be able to compensate this way. And if this happened, we would compensate different ways. And he really did a fantastic job of explaining to them, all the nuances. And I think that really affected how this rating turned out.
That's
So
interesting.
Great job by Ty is what I'm
You
saying.
ought to make a mention of that during the board meeting, when you talk your finance about the Standard & Poor's
yeah.
re-rating and such, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a sort of a pat on our back, or your back, pretty much.
And, I think that this being an election year, there's gonna be a lot of pressure to keep the interest rates down.
And I hope so.
So with any luck at all, we'll be in good shape. Okay, thank you.
What was the diameter of that pipeline again?
24-inch.
24-inch, okay. All right, so Stan, do you want to recommend to the board approval of this contract with Nichols Construction? Yep, you're on.
Yes.
Okay.
I would
So-
recommend that we
All right,
you
and
approve it.
I concur, so we'll recommend approval. Thank you. All right. I hear no public comment. Any public out there? Nothing? Okay.
Yeah, we got two now.
I know, we got two,
Yeah.
probably my wife. Let's go to number 4, Dune 3 and Hometown Water Consolidations Update.
Yeah, I wanted to, there was a request to get an update. Both of these projects, we're working with the state on finishing up the paperwork, but the most important thing is that we have a request in to meet with one of the state's attorneys. Our legal counsel wants to discuss the language in the contracts, the funding contracts, because there are some hurdles that we need to get over in order to get these things moving forward, let's just say, because we don't want to continue to apply for funds if ultimately we're not going to be able to agree to the language in the contract.
Did the new contracts come through and still have some questionable language
They
in it?
do, yes, they do.
Oh, great.
So Jim wants to talk to one of their attorneys. So that was a request that was put in a couple weeks ago, so we're waiting to hear back on that.
Okay.
Is one of those issues still the fact that if we have an overrun, we're responsible for the overrun? See, I thought we had already
Not just
resolved.
that, if the state didn't have the money,
No, the state did not agree to
Yeah.
to change any language,
yeah.
not yet.
And it was both the
Okay.
overrun and if the state all of a sudden said, hey, we're out of money,
Yeah, we'd still be on the hook
we'll still
for
be
it.
on the hook for all of it.
So, if I understand correctly, that language was, the state was really firm because that was sort of some sort of expedited funding process, and they may be more lenient in this
Yes.
longer process. So the state may be a little more amenable to changing some of that language
Okay.
in this, I'll call it a lengthier process to apply for
Yes.
it. I think that's what we're really going through,
That is
right?
absolutely correct.
So
I thought it
kudos
was
to
a
Renee
matter
for
of
continuing
different
to
kinds
be.
of funds.
Yeah.
The one kind of fund they had to be very careful with, but the other kind of fund, they didn't, because, a lot of the DWR funds actually come from the federal government as a grant,
Yeah.
and they just pass them through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the State Water Resources Control Board we're dealing with, so
Yeah.
not
Well, that's
DNR.
State Water Resources Control Board actually gets most of their money
Yes,
from the federal government.
yeah.
So,
They had a pot of money for expediting certain projects, and that's what we had brought to you before. But because that language was in concrete, you can't change it, and the board didn't agree to it, we're back to more of, like George was saying, a regular lengthier process, so,
So the time.
oh, yeah, the non-expedited.
yes.
It gives us more flexibility.
Yeah, so,
I hope
kudos
so.
to the staff for pursuing every option, expedited, not expedited, we're gonna keep, they're gonna keep, working on this till we get to the right solution.
What is the condition of Dune 3 and Hometown? Are they,
Neither
bad
of them
water,
are-
falling apart? It was just a request to consolidate.
Yes, it wasn't, neither of them are in dire straits, so,
Okay.
it was a request, Hometown put in the request because they really just don't have people that want to keep up the system anymore. And Dune 3, the owner of Dune 3 also just doesn't want to handle it anymore,
Do you
so.
remember the cost for each of those, or did you have them basically worked out?
Dune 3 was around 3 million.
Okay.
Hometown is maybe 200,000.
How much?
200,000, 250.
Oh,
It's
really?
one 600-foot pipeline or so.
Oh,
It's not
that's it?
very, yeah.
Okay.
it's-
Did either of those consider approaching the GA for funding for consolidation, which they have money for?
No, because this has been going on for 3-4 years, so
Okay.
that was,
And the GA does have funding, and in their latest staff report, it says they were targeting the, was it
Rademacher.
Rademacher, but that's open to negotiation with them if you wanted to talk to them about it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was reading
Money to
in
cover
the
both
annual report, the GA's 2023 annual report, that they have actually already got an award for $3.3
Yeah, they did.
million. And according to the annual report, it was earmarked for the Indian Wells Valley Water District consolidation.
Correct.
So, it seems to me that we probably need to read the words actually in the grant to see how specific it was. Because, Rademacher does need help.
But I think Rademacher isn't a huge project as well, because the pipeline runs right down,
It's larger than Hometown,
It's
for
lar-
sure. It's
oh,
longer.
if you do all, but we're
If you go
talking-
all the way down to Rademacher.
It sounds to
yeah.
me like they want to connect to one guy whose well went bad, which means you'd probably run a lateral from the main line on,
So would the
Yeah,
board
Springer.
like us to approach the GA and ask them how we'd like to collaborate on that? Because we really haven't
Jim was
approached
gonna
them
do
on
that.
it.
Jim had
Yeah,
said that he
well,
was
that
going
was-
to talk to
yeah,
him.
Jim-
Where I was going is, I think what we need to do, and I'll recommend that when we get to the new topics, is that I think we should, extend outreach to the GA, because a lot of times those grants, you gotta have a plan ready, shovel ready in 2 years or something like that. And if that was June of last year, we were already, I mean, I don't know at the time, that was just what the annual report said. But yeah, I think we do need to reach out to the
Well,
GA.
as Renee had said that they have been reached out to. I guess Jim's been talking to him as well, and maybe Renee has. Here's the reason George can. I agree with that. But I want to ask about the one on Redemacher. If you do that whole area, you're right. That's a big area to do.
Yeah, the two houses that are on the corner there at Springer, they're already hooked up to us.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's the ones that are farther north. And actually, I heard from someone who owns the farthest north,
Yeah.
and they were interested, and so that would be a much
So it
longer
may end up,
pipeline.
it may snowball into more, but I think the only money available from the GA would be to somebody who put in their request, my water's going bad and I need to be able to hook up to something. I don't think they could automatically say, let's combine everything, but I don't know. We need to ask. You're right,
They're
Sam.
probably
Well, yeah,
all
we
about
just
it.
need to find out what are the limitations that it would put on.
All we can do
upon
is
them.
ask.
I know the water in that
absolutely.
area is high arsenic.
And in
Yeah,
my
is it-
mind,
PDS too, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
TDS,
so
it may
well, I
qualify.
drilled, all that water I'm drinking might be,
I have no idea.
no, I'm just kidding.
in my mind, eliminating wells, consolidating with us, not forcibly, but if they can do it voluntarily, the fewer wells we have to contend with through the adjudication, the better off we are.
I
And
suspect,
that's what the state's wanting us to do.
I suspect you'll see more in that Redebacher area. Like, I didn't realize I lived close to that. As I was driving through there gathering signatures, I said, wow, there's a lot of houses out here. And then and a lot of them look like there are 4 houses on one well and all that kind of stuff goes. Some have their own.
Some of the homeowners there had gotten together and there are plans already done. And they had started even the submittal process to get the pipeline put in, but it was Chuck Cordell's company that was set to do that project. And he, of course, passed away.
Right.
So,
Oh, so they were gonna lay the
they
lines.
were.
And then they would, that doesn't mean it won't reemerge. But I'm just,
I've
I
given
think
them all the info,
we're off track here,
the
but I think
engineering company and
in
everything.
the back of your head, or, you
Yep.
just sort of keep that, it looks like that could be rearing its head in a few years, yeah. All right. Anything else on that particular subject? Nothing for, hey, we got 3 watching now, Stan. There's more people watching. Three. No comments from the public. All right, we'll move on to the booster station.
All right, we're getting closer to getting this project finished.
You say that every,
I know, they've got the new booster station up and running and
Yeah.
testing. Demolition is set to begin a week from today on the 13th,
okay,
and a final job walk on the 14th. So the contractor expects, to have everything done with punch list items and such by the end of the month. So
okay.
knock on wood, hopefully
It's
no
getting
more
there.
delays.
So trip a little, little at a time. So any expected dates, completion?
End of the month.
End of the
That's all I
month,
got. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Final
I'm
job
gonna write
walk.
down here, Renee guaranteed.
No,
End
no,
of
no.
month.
So
Okay,
demolition will start next week, and we have a final job walk, so they'll just have to do punch list
okay,
items.
all right. Anything, Stan, on that booster station?
I think it would be good for the board to hear how that booster station provided us some additional redundancy we maybe didn't have before and helped us with that. Jason and I talked about that earlier.
It brought us back to where we were prior to the earthquake and the fact that we are able to supply the C-zone and college areas from both sides of the valley,
Okay,
where when the booster was offline, Ridgecrest Heights booster was being, we'll say, abused. So having that back online gives us that ability to push from either side.
so yeah, so either pump can handle, okay.
Right.
Essentially, we had a vulnerability in the system and didn't have the redundancy that we thought what we really wanted to, and this project really helped close that redundancy, so now we have a lot more flexibility. It adds our flexibility in operating the system in emergency situations, so that's a fantastic thing.
Get your engineering books out and look at single point failures.
Yeah.
Dust them off, yeah. All right, anything else on the booster station? Anything from the public? Any more from board here? No? All right, arsenic treatment facility.
We have issued the first 50% checks to both Pure Flow and Filtronics for ordering the media. reaching out this week to confirm that they received it and that they have begun the process of consolidating everything for shipping, and should be about a 8-week turnaround. We can start loading the vessels and getting ready for summer.
Are you happy with the, it seems like ever since it's come to the medium, we've had some issues with the vendors, suppliers and things.
Yes.
Comfortable with they are now, or you, where they are now, or?
No, I'm never comfortable, but,
Yeah.
Not coming through the Strait of Hormuz or whatever it is.
yeah.
I just don't understand why that is. You can't find someone that,
Don't we have more comfort with the current contractor we're dealing with than the old contractor we're dealing with?
It ebbs and flows. It seems like when we finally get comfortable with the new contractor, they start to wane a little bit in their reliability, and then the old contractor comes through. So whoever we're not paying attention to seems to be the one that responds.
Lord,
I don't know why that is. I said you have to wonder about that.
but,
Human nature.
but we're gonna have both of these things online this summer.
That's the plan.
Working.
We'll have both plants fully operational by summer.
Okay, great.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Yep. Any more comments from the committee or public out there? Hearing nothing. We'll move on to future items. I want to ask one quick thing under this. So the major projects for this coming year are the Northwest Transmission Line, the Springer Line, and the work on the arsenic treatment. Is that the major?
So yes, not quite, and yes.
Okay,
So we'll be beginning the preliminary work for the Springer Line and getting ready to go out to bid.
okay,
But as George said, we need to make sure that the funds are in our possession,
right.
and then we can look at it. So you're probably looking at late this year or early next year to begin
Okay.
the replacement.
But that's the main concentration this year.
Those are the three main
those the
projects, yeah.
things? Okay,
Okay.
all right, unless Dune and Hometown come through as well, but, yeah.
And then not-
I had one other comment too for future items, probably at some future board meeting based on what happened in the workshop. We'll be briefing the board on certain other projects of high priority and how we're rearranging that and looking at some of those.
Do we want to add the discussion about the mandate for the electric vehicles, or just leave that lie until, because you have more information, Ty? Is it something we may want to bring forward?
Yeah, it's gonna be, we're gonna talk about it at the board meeting
Okay, so it'll be on the, okay.
on the,
Because
General
I do
manager's
think that
report, yeah.
David asked that it be on, we keep up with it, yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right.
And I would like to add something regarding the GA grant for consolidation, just so that we continue to track that and where it's going. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
a detailed report, but
So we'll just add a note in there and we'll just put Dune 3, Hometown Water and others. And so we'll just keep it under
Sure,
that
okay.
item.
Yeah.
And you got a good relationship with Carol, I believe. You've been able to talk to her.
Yes.
I mean, this would be a perfect thing for you to just chat to her about and say, what funds are available and how do we,
How
yeah,
do we work together to execute them?
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind to know what their
Carol
restrictions.
sounds a lot like Phil sometimes, but
That's because that's because he's sitting right, never mind, I'll just say it anyway. Yeah,
in
Yes.
goals, we really ought to try to push that because,
yeah.
and that's a good place to start. I think
So it is a good place where we can work together on something
All right.
that's beneficial for everyone.
anything else? From this smiling group, want to get out there and play in the rain too, don't you? The puddles and, have another meeting. All right, with that, I will adjourn this meeting at 2:24.43. Your first early meeting. Yeah, first day, yeah.